Well, anytime you win a game in your division, it's a good thing. I could come in here every day and say the same thing. There's things that you did well that we have to build on, and things that we need to improve on that we will improve on. I think the thing that I would take away from tonight is this. Our offense responded in the second half to the challenge that was presented to them at halftime. Our defense kept us in the game, and our special teams kept us in the game in the first half with some outstanding play. If, which is a horrible word, but if we could just find a way to put it together as a football team, we could be pretty darn dynamic. And that's the challenge. And we're trying. Those young men are trying. They care. It's important to them. As coaches, we're looking for answers everywhere. But I think it's pretty evident we can play some really good defense. We can play some good special teams. We can play some good offense. We've just got to do it all at the same time. But winning a game in the South against Arizona at home is a step in the right direction. We've got a great challenge this week with Arizona State. We suffered a couple injuries. I really don't have any answers for you yet on those. I know you saw Holt come out on crutches. It was his shoulder, it sublexed, then it went right back in. So we'll see where those guys are, and we'll go on. I thought Andre James stepped in for Colton and did a nice job. I thought Josh held it together when he could have gotten very, very frustrated, and did a nice job in the second half. I thought it was great that Theo was able to come in and give us a spark. I thought that Darren Andrews gave us a spark. I thought that Kenny Walker gave us a spark. I'm disappointed in the amount of drops that we had tonight. That's something that we have to improve upon if we want to, be that team that I believe we can be in terms of, hitting on all cylinders with all three phases at once. We've still got to do a better job of running the football. I don't care what they're giving us up front, what kind of movement, what kind of unscouted looks. I believe that we should be able to run the football against anybody, and I think our players do and our coaches do, but belief is not enough. We've got to get it accomplished. So big word is if. And we'll just get back on Arizona State, and hopefully we can eliminate that big if. So any questions?
You mentioned a challenge at halftime. What was the challenge?
The things that we talk about within the team, no disrespect, they stay within the team, I think that's important to protect the sanctity of the core. What's said in the locker room stays in the locker room. What's said, in the meeting room stays in the meeting room. But they're challenged to play better.
You went with Nate Starks as kind of the featured tailback. What was the decision there, and how did you think you did?
I thought he did okay. I thought as the game went on, he did better, and I think, him playing well is a function of, the other 10 guys playing well, blocking for him, and him having good vision. We think that we've got 5 good backs. We think there's 3 that, are veterans that have played, Nate and Soso and Bolu. We like them all a lot. We like Brandon Stevens a lot. We like Jalen Starks a lot. But, our decision this week was to use Nate. He's the most experienced of those 3. He's got a great combination of power, speed, slipperiness, elusiveness. He can catch the ball. He can pass protect. And I'm a fan of his. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. But those other 2 guys, the other 4 guys are also good players. So we'll continue to use them all.
Coach, right here. Right in the middle. That's okay. We've all seen Josh, make great throws, and obviously he's a great player. But tonight he was hitting on the run, falling down, doing some things that we haven't seen, that I haven't seen.
Yeah, here's what I see happening with Josh, is I think our expectations of him are just incredibly high, and sometimes unrealistically high. But what I've seen out of Josh in the last 3 weeks, behind the scenes, lends itself to the type of performance that you're recognizing tonight. I've seen a young man that has really stepped up his game in terms of studying, taking notes, applying what he's learning in practice on a daily basis. There's a process, there's a process to becoming a good player. And for Josh, for so long, it was so easy. He was just the best guy out there. And he just hopped around and he just slung it to the open guy. Well, that's just not real football. And the talent's better. around on the other side of the ball, and he's accepting that challenge, and he's really starting to get it. And when he gets it, he is something special. So he has to keep working at it. The hat's on him to keep working at it. And if he keeps working at it the way he has the last 3 weeks, then we will all be very happy. And if he doesn't, then we'll all be very disappointed. So it's up to him.
Coach, Kenny Young seems to really be hitting his stride the last couple of weeks. What have you seen click with him?
I've seen a level of confidence out of Kenny. I see a young man that understands where he's supposed to be in the defense, that's playing with really tremendous discipline. I see a guy that can run fast and tackle well. I see a guy that is stout against the run inside, can get to the edge. I see a guy that's good in pass coverage. But I think more than anything, you've seen a guy that really understands now how to play his position in this defense. And when you do that, you play with certainty. And when you play with certainty, you can play fast, and that's what I see.
You talked about the preparation, that Josh has been doing leading up to this, but have you also kind of maybe seen an emotional development with him, a maturity?
Absolutely. And I think Josh gets the credit, but I think that, I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize the effect Marcus Tuiasosopo has had on him. When you think of Marcus Tuiasosopo play football, but he's the only player in the history of college football that has thrown for 200 yards and rushed for thrown for 300 and rushed for 200 in a single game. He's the Rose Bowl MVP out here. He was not a wildly talented player. He was very talented, but he got by on grit and study and toughness and preparation. Josh, on the other hand, is this wildly talented guy that always got by on talent. When you combine those two and they start to accept each other, then you see something really special, because you can take Tui's grit and his preparation and his film study and his toughness and his will to win, and you put it with Josh's talent, and all of a sudden you got a pretty special football player.
You mentioned Theo Howard. Obviously, he got a lot of rave reviews during the fall. Some receivers were saying he was the best guy among the group. What was it like for you to see him make that impact early in the second half?
It was great. We needed that. We needed that spark. We needed a guy to catch a little hitch and put his foot in the ground and turn upfield and make a play like he did. I think it's only his second catch of the year. You're going to see a lot more Theo Howard. You're going to see a lot more Theo Howard, I promise you that. That kid is special. We like him. The game's not too big for him. Obviously, he's got to get more physical. He's still pretty slight, but I feel like I can trust Theo Howard, and I think Josh does, and we want guys out there that our quarterback and our coaches can trust.
The unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that you drew, what happened there?
I got the flag.
I know that. What triggered that?
You know what? I'm going to take that up with the league and just leave it at that. It's
So you still have an objection to?
Do I have an objection? Yeah, that's an understatement.
Coach, you made a change with taking out Ish in the return game, putting Randall and Darius in. What was behind that decision? How do you think they did?
Well, Ish got hurt on kickoff returns. That's why Randall went in on kickoff returns. On punt returns, they run that little rugby half roll stuff that people are starting to do because they get these Australian guys and all that. So what we do is we went with the double return looks. We had Darius Pickett back there with Mossy Johnson, two guys that have excellent hands. I don't know if you guys know this, but Darius was an outstanding baseball player. Could probably play in the major leagues. He's a great decision maker. He can handle the ball on the hop. You can track it through the air. And so that was really the reason that we did that, just because of the way they were moving. And then in the kickoffs, we had Ish in there until he got hurt.
In the days leading up to today, Josh had mentioned, that a play here, a play there, you guys could be undefeated, you guys could be a top 5 team. At this point in the season, do you have a gauge for how good you guys are?
Well, we're 3-2. That's what we are. We're 3-2. And if we can get it right at the same time, we could be really good. If.
All right,
All right, thanks.